Hey, and good afternoon, Prescott. Guess what? Second show. This is very unusual for us. Normally our show starts at 10 o'clock and we go for about 40 minutes. But today, we try to make accommodations for everybody. And we have like a really busy person here today with us who was so gracious enough to give us the time at noon today because she goes to a lot of meetings and is around about in the area a lot. I'd like to welcome Area District 5 Supervisor Mary Mallory.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you accommodating my schedule.
Well, you know what? We appreciate you being able to come in and do this because, like I said, any of the elected, now the candidates I usually keep on schedule, 10 o'clock, you kind of have to fit into that zone.
Right.
But if you're an active legislator or somebody who's serving our community, I always will make changes in the time so that you can come and voice your opinions and talk to the public. So,
I look forward to it.
That's cool.
Yes.
So, Mary Mallory, I sat and I watched you on Chris Kukne's show, or what? I listened to you on Chris Kukne. You're watching me, but you're listening to Chris, and I thought you did a really good job, and you hit on a lot of things that I'm going to kind of duplicate a little bit today.
Okay.
And one of the questions I'm going to ask you is, why are you running?
Why am I running? Well, you know what? I love this community, and people will ask me, well, what does that mean? Well, I'm all about service. So I came here about 20 years ago on a job transfer. One for Albertsons, and I am the operations customer service manager. I've been doing customer service all my life. And I enjoy people, I enjoy helping people. I've had many people help me in my lifetime, even as a very young girl. And that's why I'm here, is because there's a lot of things in our community that I want to continue to help the community with, the roads, the infrastructure. I did serve on Prescott Valley for almost 9 years. Did a lot of community things with that. With Albertsons, when I was working there, the staff was so amazing. We did what we called cookies for the troops. Reached out to the community with that for our troops after the attacks of 9/11. And I just want to be that person that the people can actually look at and come to and call and just help to leave a better legacy. We were blessed by the past of what this community has. There was a group that came before us, and we're enjoying those benefits. And I want to leave a good legacy today for tomorrow.
Gotcha. And you're, one of the things that you did is you inspired the healing fields over in Prescott. Could you hit on that, or Prescott Valley? Could you hit on that a little bit?
Yeah. So I was sworn into office 2011 in Prescott Valley, and I received an email actually from the mayor in Tempe, and it said, "Could you come help with our 9/11 event?" And I really didn't understand what that was. And I said to Kirk, I said, hey, we're going to Tempe. And
Kirk's her husband.
Kirk, my husband, who he's with me everywhere. I said, we're going to go to Tempe, Arizona. And he goes, well, what are we going to do? And I said, well, we're going to go down and help with the 9/11. And the reason I did that, and the reason I was inspired with that invitation, I wasn't the only one that got it. It went through the whole state. Is because I made a conscious decision then that I wanted to know my neighbors. I want to know my community, and it's not just here, but it's other cities and towns, because we're really a connected source. We're not islands, and together we make a difference. Separated, we get nothing accomplished, is how I feel. So we went on down there, and there were over 4,000 American flags at Tempe Lake. I didn't even know that existed. It moves your soul, and I'll tell you what, the healing fields move your soul. And if they don't move your soul, I've always said, then you don't have one.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, those people did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
They just went to work,
Yep.
dropped their kids off, and because there's an evil that lives among us today still, that can happen to all of us. We got to make every day count.
Yeah. Good, well put, and it is quite a reflection when you walk through all those flags and see the boots and the fireman boots, and
Yes.
I mean, and then every flag has the name on it, and you orchestrated that within the city of Prescott or
did.
Prescott Valley.
Yeah, and I spearheaded that, and it was interesting. I came to the town and I said, well, listen, I'd like to plant 3,000 American flags 8 feet tall in the grass for a week. And they tried to, and they were like looking at me. I was relatively very new councilwoman, so they're like, oh my goodness, what'd we get, right? But I showed them the video, and it was so moving. And then I did a presentation at a council meeting.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, what I said was, is this to the community? And I said, this is not a council event, and this is not a town event. I said, this is an event. I'm asking you, the people, to join in with me to help bring this forward to this community, to never forget, to always remember those that have given their lives for this country, those that lost their lives, that shouldn't have lost their lives, to ponder what will you do better with the life that God gave you for every day you have.
Yeah.
And that event is definitely brought in by the people, and every year it grows and grows more. And those fireman boots were donated from all over the country.
It's a great event. It's like I said, it's very moving.
It
Hey,
is.
Prescott, I'm in Prescott Valley and District 5 and everywhere else, all points in between.
We're all here.
We're all here. and
Yavapai
if you-
County.
Yeah, Yavapai County.
Second Amendment Sanctuary.
If you have a question, please write it up and say, you know, in the comment area, and we'll have Mary answer it for you. And matter of fact, how funny is that, huh?
Already.
Suddenly I've got the
Uh-oh.
board with the Q on it. We have a question. Go ahead, Rob. What was it?
Basically, what exactly does a Board of Supervisor do?
What does the Board of
Oh.
Supervisors do?
Well, you know, we have the opportunity of levying taxes. We oversee budgets. We also oversee contracts. Help determine some budgets. You know, we also oversee 17 department directors. And there's many other things that come along with that. You know, there are times that we wear different hats in a meeting. Some days we're the flood control, the library district, and many things like that. But that's about, you know, there's just basically the levying of taxes and overseeing the budget and trying to make sure that our community is taken care of correctly and safely and managed financially very well.
You know, Yavapai County is the size of New Jersey.
It is
and
about.
So it's pretty big. So the way I kind of look at you guys is each one of you are a mayor of your certain area.
Exactly.
Would
that would be a perfect example of it, you know.
Yeah.
And then each mayor comes together.
Right.
Every
And
2 weeks.
and forms a whole.
Yes, and you know, and we also have to take that money that we have, and we have to understand, like maybe District 3 over in the Verde, Randy, maybe he's got a really serious situation going on. So maybe District 4 and 5 and
Right.
2 need to back off a little. So because maybe we need to help that district.
Do you find that cooperation?
I do.
Well?
Yeah, I absolutely do. District 5 has a lot of cooperation going on in it right now with Prescott Valley and the county and the other districts like Craig and them. We're working together. In fact, we're going to do a ribbon cutting next week on some new mailboxes. We worked with the post office on that. Road work. We have several projects going forward. So we do have our own districts and our own people to elect us. And but every 2 weeks we have to come together and work together for the betterment of a whole county the size of New Jersey.
Gotcha. So going back just a little bit, were you actively on the council for Prescott Valley when you got appointed to the Board of Supervisors, or was there a transition period there?
Yes, actually, I was a town councilwoman. I did check into that, and they said that I could put in for the town council. I mean, I could put in for the appointment, still stay.
Right.
And if I got the appointment, I would immediately resign
Gotcha.
from the town council.
So your position was backfilled in
Yes.
the county,
And
or
to-
in the city or
Yes.
the town of Prescott Valley.
And you know, that's what's going on. It's something interesting that I've learned as I've been in the county. So, you'll see right now a lot of people that might be running for a Board of Supervisor, and they are still an employee of the county. And it's because the seat is either going to be open, like Tom Thurman's seat is open, and Rowley's is open. And I was appointed, and I was very honored to get that appointment, I want you to know. And but because I was appointed, that gives people that might be employed by the county that opportunity to also do and run for the election. But if you are an employee and the person's elected and they're running, you can't run against them. So.
And we talk about, sometimes we talk, you and I talk together a couple times, and one of the things that really hit me a little bit strange was, you know, you never say I'm an elected person, I was appointed. And at a lot of the venues that come up, they'll say, those who are elected, would you please stand up? And Mary doesn't stand up. And I'm like, you know, and there's a reason for that. And I just want you to explain that. You're turning red, but
well,
and I know, but you know what? This is where character matters, in my opinion.
Well, thank you.
This is where character matters, and this is where, you know, your character shows. And I want you to tell the folks why you don't stand up when they say, well, all the elected stand.
Well, you know, I will be honest. I've never been appointed before. I was elected in 2 times for Prescott Valley. But coming over to this, even on my meeting I had the other day when we had prayer, they had said elected and appointed. And so being appointed was a great honor. But being elected means that you, the people, hire us. When you're elected, you're hired by the people. And I don't stand, not to be disrespectful to the appointment, but I don't stand because the people haven't hired me. And I don't want to give a false perception of that. And I try to make it very clear, like when they'll say she's running for re-election, I actually corrected Chris the other day on the radio, and he's like, now you're correcting me?
I know, he's funny.
He is funny. But I said, you know what, I want you to know that I am upfront and honest. I really am who I am. And that's important, that you know who I am and how I stand for things. And I want to be clear about my position, that I was appointed, and now I'm out asking the people to hire me because I see this as a job interview. And you are my, you know, you're my, yes, you are. And my constituents are the person that hired me and paid me.
Well, you know, and again, I think, I get a good response from everybody, and you included. You know, I talked to you or sent you a concern about the treasurer, and you sent me back a message, thank you for, you know, thanking me for my email. And so I am active in politics, obviously. I sent you a message about the Second Amendment when that came, and we actually talked a little bit about that.
Yes, we did.
And, you know, again, you kind of know where I was coming from, but you always,
I absolutely did.
You took the time. You didn't know me. You had no idea who I was. You know, I'm just another guy that lives in District 5 somewhere. So, and I appreciate that. And, you know, I'll tell you, your predecessor, Jack, he did the same thing. He would always take the time to talk to the people that contacted him. And like everybody, you know, when you're in politics, you're never going to make everybody happy with your decisions and what you're going to do. But it's really cool for me, a transplant from California. I've been here now for 5 years. That I can sit down and talk to my legislators and the people who represent me. And going into that, you have a coffee chat, just like Jack did.
Yes.
Could you make a commercial for that? Because it's really important, you folks that do live in District 5, if you want to sit down and talk to your representative, she makes herself available again, and over a cup of coffee. Hey, the coffee's not bad either. So, you know, let us know where we can talk to you on your coffee chat.
Well, I've been doing I kept the coffee chat going. Jack Smith had been doing that. I thought it was great. I attended his, and the community really liked it. So I continued with that program. And so this year, in the new year, I've kind of ventured out into some different locations. We actually had it at Rafters 11, which was very nice. And I will be having another one next month. And I will put that out on Facebook, and I'll put that out on my website, and I'll send it to you, and then you could share it. But we get a chance to meet and talk, and I actually had development services there, and that was a very good program as well. They have a little.
Bring a guest.
Yes, I bring a guest about the county and what we're doing, and there's a lot involved in the county, so I think it's a good education, and it's a chance for all of us to have great coffee, snacks, and get to know each other on a personal level.
Yeah. I think it's like I said, you bring other departments in where people can talk. And is there any besides Facebook? Is there any other advanced notifications about your coffee chat and who you're
Well,
going to
I
have?
always put it up on the District 5 website.
Okay.
On the county
Okay.
website, and then I also put it out on my own Facebook, or I'll send emails out to everybody, and they'll share it. And when I have it at Rafters 11, they actually have a Facebook page that they'll actually share it on as well. And so yeah.
While we're on social media and the web, your website is?
The website that I have is going to be YavaPaiCounty.com District 5. Okay. And
So that's the county website.
Yes, so just go YavaPaiCounty.com, and when you get that, you'll get all of the supervisors up. You can click on there, and it's really good to go to the website for District 5, because I update that constantly. Actually, I shouldn't take credit for that. Cynthia updates that constantly. She is an excellent assistant.
Yeah, she is.
She did a great job for Jack, and she does a fabulous job for me.
Yeah. So you have the county website. Rob's putting that up right now.
Oh, good.
So you have it. Do you have a personal website?
I do. I have Mary Mallory District5.com. That is my personal website. That tells you a lot about me as I am running in the election, and I've got some things on there that I've accomplished, and please leave me a message if you'd like to reach out to me more about other things. And I have a Facebook page, of course. And my email, you can always reach me on a personal level at marymalloryddistrict5@gmail.com.
Good. And that's going up as well.
Yes,
and you're on Facebook. So
and I should tell you my phone number.
If you'd like.
928-910-5076. I would say I'm not a person that runs from people. I run to the people.
Good deal. And I want to make another commercial for Cynthia.
Oh, yes, go right ahead.
Cynthia Gentle, which is your assistant.
My assistant,
And again, I have Cynthia on Facebook as well as on my email list. And I'll be very honest, if I need something done, I call Cynthia because you guys are busy. But on my road, a lot of times it doesn't get, during the summertime, the grass grows high and it becomes a fire danger, and I just send Cynthia an email. Can I get a mower down the street? And they come through and they mow it, and she's always on top of it. So thank you, Cynthia, for that. I want to make sure that you're recognized as well.
Yes, because she's excellent.
Yeah.
And I was very blessed when she decided to stay on with me.
Yeah.
Because I needed that experience.
Yeah.
8 years worth. That's that's wonderful.
She's a keeper. There's no
she
doubt
is a
about
keeper.
it.
Yes.
So let's get into the potatoes and meat of this whole thing.
Okay.
You
All
ready?
right. I'm ready.
All right. Okay. So we would be totally remiss if we didn't talk about the Second Amendment and what happened there, because that was probably one of the biggest events that I've seen in at least my 5 years, and I know you've been here a lot longer.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that, Mary.
Oh, my goodness. So, this was, I never saw this coming, just so you know. I wasn't understanding at the Cottonwood what we were really, but there was a presentation made at Cottonwood. And then when we were done, it seemed like the people thought we were going to vote on it then. I got that kind of message, and I thought, oh, are we supposed to vote on this? But it was just a presentation. So we moved on. Holidays came, and then January 2nd came with the proclamation.
Right.
And that's when I couldn't get through the line to get in the door, right?
Yeah.
But
they thought you were cutting in front of everybody.
That's right, yes.
Who are you?
I know, who am I? And so, but you know what? I got through there, and I was just like amazed. I've just never experienced anything like that, before, nor was I, expecting it. But I saw the emails. We were constantly getting emails, for it, against it, whatever. But after listening to over 4 hours of the people just talking and pouring their heart out, and I knew what they were saying. I got the message. Paper is one thing, but they weren't asking me about a paper. They were asking me, who was I? And would I be their representative? And would I stand behind them if that happened, that that they may come in with all these laws, And I'm like, yeah. I mean, my father, prisoner of war, my son's over in Afghanistan right now, I understood that what we had was not what was needed. That's what I understood.
It's interesting to me as, as a constituent as well as a citizen, that a lot of times our elected raise their hand and recite words, but I don't think they realize that sometimes there might be a time when they actually have to defend the Constitution, and they're going to have to support it. And it's really, and I use the word where the rubber meets the road.
Yes.
Is when there is a threat to our Second Amendment or our First Amendment or our Fourth Amendment,
right,
whatever it may be. Where will you stand when that threat comes up? Will you fold, or will you stand up and say, no, this can't happen, and I'm prepared to take whatever consequence I'm going to have to take in order to stand by it?
Yes, and and that's exactly how I feel. And it says that we will protect against foreign and domestic
All
enemies.
Foreign and domestic.
Right. And you know what? Every day that I get a chance to come out here and do this job, this job that's given to me by the people, I receive it because others have given their life for that freedom. And I don't take that lightly. And I think of it all the time. I still remember the gentleman, and I cannot remember his name, but his face is just very clear to me. And he says to Myrna as he comes up to speak, and he says, unlike you, Myrna, I am the last of my family.
Yeah, Joel.
Yeah, is that Joel?
Joel. His
that's
family was slaughtered in the Holocaust.
Yes.
He's the last one.
That is a real point of history that happened. And history can repeat itself. And we're foolish to think otherwise.
I agree.
Foolish to think otherwise.
Absolutely. It does repeat itself if we don't, and we should never forget.
And our troops are over in foreign lands defending our freedoms. I think that we need to be defending our freedoms here in our very own country, because it is a republic if we can keep it.
Well, and there's an element, like you said, that wants to take those freedoms away, and they want to diminish our Second Amendment. And
Right.
the reasons for that Second Amendment, a lot of people, the conspiracy theories, but I definitely believe that once the Second Amendment is destroyed, the First Amendment goes in the Fourth
Right.
Amendment, and there is no turning back. So
Right.
it's important that, I'm very passionate to preserving the Constitution as a whole,
Yes.
as well as the Second Amendment. And I was there at all, I didn't go to the Cottonwood meeting, but I was there at the January 2nd meeting.
Yes,
And I was at Prescott and, and voiced our concerns. And
Yes, you
it
did.
was to the credit of the board, because, we weren't there to fight against the board.
No, I
We
know.
wanted to have you guys on our side.
Right.
And, I honestly, I thought it probably would be rejected maybe by one or two, but ultimately pass. But, again, the board's credit, they all listened, and it's passed
They did.
unanimously.
Yes, they did.
So it's good to know that, because the first time around, I didn't think, I got to tell you, I started hearing, well, the lawyers say this, and the government may not pay us this. And
I know.
And I'm like, my constitutional right is not up for sale.
Exactly.
That was
I
mine.
understand.
So, but again, to the board's credit, they came back with not only just a proclamation, a resolution
Yes.
that was voted on unanimously. So thank you, Mary, and thank you to the rest of the board that listened to the public.
people,
And
yeah.
it was cool because we did have, not many, but there were a few in opposed.
Yeah,
And
there was.
They were able to get up. You know what? I would totally support their right to get up there and speak to,
Yeah, absolutely.
to the board. You know, that's their constitutional right.
Right.
If we're going to believe in our Second Amendment, this is what protects them to be able to do that.
Right, exactly.
They don't.
And-
They may not put the dots together.
Right.
And you know my saying on that, don't you, Mary?
I don't think I do. What is it, Glenn?
Everybody has a right to be wrong.
Oh, that's right. And I'm sure that I'm going to use that for myself
So are
someday.
a lot of light. Everybody
you know?
has a right to be wrong. But you know what? They executed their First Amendment, and it was, you know, while we disagree,
Right.
I'm glad they did it.
Yeah, I am too. And you know, I realize in this job we are not always going to be able to make everybody happy. We didn't make everybody happy that day. But you know what? I do know for our country at hand and our state that we did the right thing.
Okay. Cool.
That much I do know. I know what the right thing is
Stand by
and
it.
stand by it, you know, and I understand. And the message was clear. And you guys continue on your fight. Isn't that right?
Yeah, we
And you're doing a
we're
fine
not stopping.
job.
We're
I
not
want
stopping.
you to know
You
you're
know
doing
what?
a
Like I
fine
said,
job.
there's no bounds. There's no expiration date on that oath.
No, there
We
isn't.
carry it for
Yep.
the rest of our life.
That's right. And you know, my dad became a prisoner of war because he had to surrender his weapons
Yeah.
to the Japanese because they were not getting supplies, and the inhumane things that were happening in the islands to the villagers who had no way to protect themselves. So it is important to be able to protect yourself, and that's how we got our country.
And you listen to people like Quan Nguyen.
Oh,
who-
yeah.
Quan, you were at the Quan kickoff
Yes,
campaign.
I was.
And you know, when you hear from somebody who actually did lose their country,
Yes.
and he's up there saying, if we would have had the Second Amendment, how much better, you know, the better their fight could have been.
Yes.
So he did a pretty powerful speech. I mean, you know,
Yes.
yeah, I know Chris Kukino pretty good,
Yes.
and we went to the Second Amendment rally. And he's going, Quan's got to stay on the speech. He's got to stay on target. Poor guy got up there and he couldn't read his notes because it was dark. So you know, from subject to subject, I could see he was looking, you know, at his paper. But when he spoke from the heart.
He did.
He was like, he couldn't follow his notes, you know.
Right.
And so when he talked about immigration, border control, and you know, education,
Yeah.
and the Second Amendment, and what it was like to be an American, and then he finally put out, you know, which I think is powerful. He thanked the Vietnam vets
Yes.
for allowing him to be there to talk
Yes.
and be in the country and run for this office.
Right.
I think that, you know what,
And
that's what
that's
this whole
full
thing's
circle.
about, right?
That's really full
Yeah,
circle.
Absolutely.
You know, a person that was captive,
Yeah.
that our country fought for the freedoms to liberate them, then they come to the country, and here he is, and he's going to make a difference.
Yeah,
He's
I
going to
agree.
make a difference
Well, you know,
because
I-
it's in his heart.
It is. It
And
is
that's what
for the
matters.
people. Let's shift gears because I see a really colorful little
Oh
graph
my
here.
gosh! You know what? I brought my
know,
little papers
yeah,
because
you
I was
did.
trying to be, you know, ready.
Yeah, I could see
Trying to
that.
be a ready supervisor.
Did you
here.
have all this on Chris's show?
I
He only
did.
has a desk about this
I
big.
know. We could hardly get the two chairs in there for crying out loud. But anyway, go ahead.
So let's talk about the property tax. So
Yes.
Mary Mallory comes into office and all of a sudden, boom, she's
Boom.
faced with a property tax initiative.
It's like the meteor.
Yeah, exactly. Suddenly there's another meteor. That was the first meteor that hit. That was right around what?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so the 18% on $100,000 value of your property or house per $100,000.
Yes.
You got an 18% increase. That is to go to jail, PSPRS, and infrastructure. Am I correct?
That is correct.
So I guess my question is, obviously you supported it. Why did you support it?
Well, I supported it because there is a need, as much as, you know, we don't want to have to do it, there is a need to build that criminal justice center. And there also is a need to have a mental health component to it, because not everybody belongs in jail. A lot of people have life issues. And if we can help them get over it, they can get out there back into society. But it does cost money to keep our community safe. Our population is growing. We do spend over $2 million going back and forth over the mountain. And the PSPRS is a part of that component of raising the property tax. So I felt that I needed to go forward to support the tax in order to build the Criminal Justice Center, to also help with the fact that we have a debt in PSPRS that I'm not trying to shake responsibility on here, but I absolutely don't have a lot of control, Glenn, as you know, on that level of balance due that we got, which is around $52 million. So with that being said, that was my support going forward, building the Criminal Justice Center, raising the property tax. We did conduct a sales tax initiative a couple times. It did fail. I did vote for the sales tax, just so you know, because I understood the question to be that it wasn't that we weren't going to have a criminal justice center, it was how do we pay for the criminal justice center? And personally for me, I do vote sales tax because that comes from everybody that comes in and out of our area. It's not just on the back of the people that live here. And right now it is on the back of the people that live here. And I am sorry about that.
So there was a vote twice for this jail and it was rejected twice. Do you feel that that you have public support to build this jail?
You know what? I've had conversations out there with many different groups. And some people are, no, we don't need the jail. I mean, that's their position. We have other people that are perfectly fine with the jail, fine with the tax increase, but does not like the location, which in regards to the location, that actually was maneuvered about 20 years ago. And I'm going to say about 20 years ago. I wasn't in all of this, and I don't think that you were here either at the time when they were moving.
We weren't here when they built the jail in the Verde either.
Okay,
So,
well,
I mean,
neither, yeah.
So
So,
I get that.
yeah.
You know.
So that's always, they traded some land. We have the juvenile correction center right there, and their plan was always to put the criminal justice center there in the future. The Verde jail doesn't have a possibility of expansion apparently. Now I'm not sure why that went that way, but this particular one does. We also have most of our cases, and I'm going off on what I've read and what I've looked at here in Prescott, okay? So we have many different ideas. They don't mind the jail. They don't mind the property tax. They understand we need one. They don't like the location. Other people are like, I don't want my taxes raised. I don't care where. Kind of like infrastructure or gas tax. And so that's about where it is, you know, but I will tell you that I did vote for the Criminal Justice Center to be built. I did vote for the tax because we have to pay for it. The bond is about $70 million is what we're looking at. Actually, we have about it's about a $65 million like amount with some extra for, you know, how things happen as you build things. You know, you might run into problems here. But we have a max at $70 million on the project budget itself.
Okay.
I hope that answered all the questions.
No, you did. You know,
Okay.
like I said, there's everyone's not going to be in tune with what is being done. You know, there's some that want the criminal justice system. I like our little
I know,
phrases
yeah,
that
better than the
it's
jail.
a jail,
Yeah.
folks, but we're
Yeah.
going to call it the criminal justice system.
And I just keep going with
and
it.
there's
you
a
know.
lot of things that we could go back and forth on. We'll do
Right.
that on another show because I want
Yes.
you to come back.
Well, I want to come back.
Yeah, we need
you know,
to,
I
we
hope
need
I
to-
didn't use up
we need
too
to
much
break
time.
down
Yeah.
some of this stuff a little bit more and get the meat potatoes because, you know, one of the questions I've always had was all that $2 million transferring the prisoners over here to do because they have to appear in front of the judge. They can't
Yes.
do the CCTV.
And
So why don't we just take the judges to the Verde and build something over there where they can have their own courtrooms there, so there wouldn't be transportation. It seems to me it would be a lot easier to move 4 or 5 judges than it would be 30 people who have to appear before them.
And
So-
and of course, we could get more into this. I think that
Yeah,
we should.
We could really get into
Yeah, we could get into the real gritty of all this. But there are a lot. You have all the attorneys and all those things over here. But
I wouldn't want to interfere with them. I mean, they're
the attorneys.
valuable.
But I will say this,
Yeah.
as just a citizen of Yavapai County, I do not like and have never cared for the fact that when we are taking the people, the prisoners, we bring them in on the bus, and then they're walking around on the sidewalk out there. I know you've seen this, right, Glenn? Also, when you go into the building, they're actually sharing the same public elevator. I just think that it could be something that could be very dangerous. That's all I'm saying. When you have families, children, all in the same area, and you're trying to get the people that are committed crimes into where they need to go, and we're all I just think that is not a good system. I realize we've done it that way because of money, but I think we're at a point now where I don't think that we can continue to keep, I would say, kick the can down the road. I will say this, and I better be quiet pretty soon about this, but a while back when they were looking at it, it wasn't going to cost as much as it does today. So I'm just here to say that if we have to do this, which is what our report says and what have you, that we need to get it done, because my understanding is it was only about somewhere between 30 and 40 million when they were looking at it a while back. Now we're looking at 70 million, and supply and demand, housing, economy, I guess, is good. Makes living expensive.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of aspects to it.
There is.
Criminal justice reform is one. Are we really? But you know what? I think you and I would definitely agree. The bad people need to stay incarcerated.
We do.
We don't want them walking our streets. So that's a good place to segue.
That's right.
Into, we're going to run out of time here pretty
Okay.
quick, but I want to talk about the treasurer just for a moment.
Oh,
and,
okay.
kind of wind up on that. Like I said, we just don't have enough time or batteries in our cameras to keep this thing going too long. But so the treasurer decided to resign, said health problems. So he resigned. And then we have an appointment. So the appointee, gets to do an appointment right out of the bat. Man, you're on a fast track.
I tell you,
I'm telling
I
you,
never saw this coming. Yeah.
It don't slow down, does it? So we have 5 people. We have Robert Breyer. These people put in to be appointed. So you're going to listen to him on Monday, Robert Breyer. And he is an experienced accountant, from what I understand. Gary Freed, I believe it is.
Yes, that's correct.
He's another public accountant. We have Michael Sart, is that?
Sardi, I believe.
Okay, has banking experience.
Yes.
We have Chip Davis, who was the Board of Supervisors for District 2?
District
3?
I want to say 3,
Randy's.
but it was only when they had 3 people too.
Randy's district.
Yeah, so it's Randy's district.
Yeah,
I think
so
it was.
Randy took Chips when he ran for LD1, and then he didn't get that. He didn't win on that election, and so he went to work for Tom O'Haron over in.
Oh yeah, for LD. Yes, okay,
yeah.
I see what. Yeah.
So he's working for the Democrat guy. And then we have Pam Pearsall,
right,
who was our assessor for 8 years, and they're going to speak to you
on Monday.
And they all get like 5 minutes to say why. So obviously, I can't ask a whole lot of questions, nor can you answer them. But when you sit down and do that, let me just break it this way: you're not going to make a decision on a 5-minute speech, or do you? I mean, when you go in and sit down for an appointment, you've kind of researched these people already and got an idea who you're going to pick.
We have resumes and everything that's come in, kind of like how when I went for the appointment, I had sent in a resume and what have you. And so then you go and, you read through all this, and then we're going to go and listen to them. It's a job interview.
Right.
That's what I refer it to. So, and we're going to listen to what they talk about and what their experience is. And again, I want to remind one thing about this appointment is that we have an election. We're in an election. So some of these people may be running for election. And so no matter how this goes, the fact of the matter is that the appointment isn't for that long, and the people will decide.
Till August or something like
Yeah,
that,
August
isn't it, Mary?
4th is the election. And so that is a good thing. When they appointed me, it was 18 months, basically. So, but yeah, so we're going to listen to them, and then my understanding is we're going to go into executive session.
Okay.
And we're going to have a conversation.
Right.
And then we're going to come back out. And then
And
we're
pick
supposed
the
to
best
hire
person.
somebody.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's kind of interesting, I pondered. I'm like, well, I'm an appointed person. Do I get to appoint somebody,
Yeah.
But I've done it on town council for Prescott Valley.
Sure.
It's a little different here. And it was unexpected that the treasurer left. Wasn't ready for that. So, when we go back on the whole thing, it's been quite an interesting
It's been a ride, huh?
6 months.
Yeah.
And I have had an amazing experience, a life experience, and you know what? I appreciate all of it. I think everything happens for a reason,
Yeah.
and I really seeked God out on this. I wanted Him to be in it because I can't do this alone. Glenn, this is hard, and it's a lot of responsibility, and I need the guidance.
And you're never given more than what you can do.
Well,
So,
that's exactly
you know
what I say.
So
That's what
you
he
plug
says,
away
and
get her done.
But I do have conversations with him daily, and I'm
Yeah.
like, so, what are we doing now?
What door are you opening today?
That's right.
It's kind of like this show. I am not a TV person. I am not a host. I'm not a journalist. People say, oh, you're a journalist. No, I'm not. I was contacted about this idea, and I thought, well, why not? God works in strange ways, and here I am a year later, and I even got my own intro now.
Well, there you go.
Because Rob made it for me.
Well,
Anyway, Mary.
Rob is great.
Yeah, he is. I could tell everybody, he can either make you look really good or really bad. So anyway,
Oh,
let's wind this up, Mary, because
Okay.
again, we only have so much time.
Yes.
So this is your camera.
Alrighty.
And I would love you to look in the camera because the folks are watching you and tell them why they should vote for Mary Mallory to continue to be the Board of Supervisors District 5 representative.
okay. I will do that. Well, I am Mary Mallory, and I am your current county supervisor for District 5. I've been here about 20 years. I've been serving in a public status for almost 9 years now. And I feel that I am a very connected person to the community. I feel that the job that someone does as a elected official is customer service. You guys are asking for somebody to be there when you call them, and that's the person that I will be. I love people, I love the country, and the reason I have the freedom is because so many others fought for this right, and I take it with great responsibility and will do my best and give it my all to be the best county supervisor for you in District 5. And I would appreciate that you support me, vote for me, and my signs will say, keep Mary Mallory, District 5 County Supervisor. Thank you.
Yeah, good deal. So I've had all three now. 'Cause there's
Yes.
3 candidates for District 5, so anybody who wants to, or living in District 5, wants to review, that are all on the website.
Yes.
So you can compare. And they've all said that they're going to come back, and you said you'll come back.
I will come back.
As the campaign progresses.
Yes.
So I want to close out with just a couple things. Number one is Oath Keepers over in Chino Valley on tomorrow. Selena Bliss, the candidate for LD1, will be speaking there.
Okay.
So she'll be there, and then they break into the general briefing, which they're going to be talking about the coronavirus and what's going on both globally, locally, and in the United States. So if you're interested in any of that, you're more than welcome to come. It's the First Baptist Church at 1524 North South Route 89, Building C in Chino Valley. And then mark your calendars because we're going to have a Stop the Bleed class on May 9th. and that's going to teach people how to, you know, God forbid if there was ever a shooting
Oh, okay.
or a car accident or whatever, and there's a major, somebody's hurt to the point where there's a major bleed, how we can stabilize that person till we get them to the medics or to the hospital. So that's going to be working with compression bandages, tourniquets, wound packing, that kind of stuff.
And
So this is really important that people know how to do this,
Right.
because we could be driving down the freeway and, you know, somebody hit a guardrail, and you know, if they get an arterial bleed, it's only about 3.5 minutes and they're gone. So if you can stop that or slow it down so that when the EMS folks get there, you saved a life, and that's worth you know, 2 hours worth of training.
it is, it absolutely is, and we're all responsible for this community, and
Yeah.
we're really here. We need each other, and we need to help and support each other. That's what brings a united force.
And you know what's neat about it? It's free.
I-
Man, you don't get.
I
We
went
don't
to
charge
it.
anything for
No.
it, and you'll learn a lot. So
Yes.
again, May 9th, mark your calendars. And with that, I always like to close out thanking our police and our. I'm sorry. Let me go back because I got a note there. I'd like to thank our military, our past and present
Yes.
military, for giving us the opportunity to sit down and talk and be in a free country
Yes.
where we can express our opinions without any fear of being retaliation.
Yeah.
I'd also like to thank our police and fire department for keeping the streets safe and giving us the opportunity that we can get down here and keep our community crime, you know,
Yeah.
under control. Let's put it that way. I was going to say crime-free, but
Yeah.
we're not crime-free.
No, we're not crime-free.
So-
Otherwise, I wouldn't build a criminal
You wouldn't be
justice
building
center.
just.
Just saying.
We won't go back into that.
Okay.
So anyway, but we do. We have your backs, and we appreciate the job that you do. Thank you so much. And next week I have Anne Marie Ward running
Oh.
for the U.S. Congress.
Yes.
So she will be in on Friday at 10 o'clock. So if you'd like to learn more about Anne Marie Ward, by all means, we'll see you at 10 o'clock next Friday. So with that, thank you, Prescott.
Thank you.